WNUR, you know what I mean? So I felt like what better place to return to, you know what I mean, and kind of wrap it up. And let me just clarify at the beginning of this interview, I'm not retiring. I'm not doing any melodramatic BS where I'm trying to, call attention to some decision I'm making. This is very, more or less just me concentrating my efforts in other directions. So, I wouldn't, it's a final interview in the respect that this is not something that I'm currently going to be pursuing. And we can get into more of that later. But I just wanted to clarify, for anybody who might be thinking, I'm one of the 50 rappers that's retiring this week. I'm not retiring, you know what I mean? I do what I do, and it happens not to be what I've been doing. And that's probably the best way to explain it.
Who retires?
I was just going to say, even if you retire, you can always come back.
Yeah, so. I don't got enough money to retire. Keep it real.
Exactly. Okay, so at this point, you're ripping NUR. You're coming up, and you're one of the very few cats, and really the few cats in the city. Period. You can say you're high school, but everyone. And there's nothing wrong with
there was a little bit going on out south. WHBK was doing probably the equivalent to WNUR, the South Side equivalent. Yeah, so there was a handful of cats that was doing it and part of that scene.
KKC, I think, too.
Exactly.
Pink House and some of those cats.
So I became a part of that.
Yes.
And like I mentioned, DJ Dirk V was playing my music regularly. I had me and Chain Ruger from the Ill State Assassins had several appointments with record labels in New York. Now we get into about 91. And
is this when Invisible Man hit off?
These are the songs that would ultimately become Invisible Man EP, which was my debut, super underground. Occasionally I see on the internet people selling it, but it's definitely very rare, difficult release to cop now at this point.
I'm glad to have one.
Well, I appreciate that.
What don't you have, Risky?
I snagged it when I was up with this guy at Seawall. I snagged it from him.
Risky got the masters.
So basically, Dirk told me, look, I wish you well. I really hope, you deserve a record deal off this music, and I'm feeling it. But in the event that you come home and things haven't worked out the way you hope them to work out, please let me know, because I would be honored to press this up and put it out. You know what I mean? And so I felt real good going into the trip. I felt like, I got some sort of record deal either way it goes. And the name of his label was Mob City Records. And this was like a label in theory only. He hadn't released anything. He was a college senior. He had some bread, you know what I mean? I had some music. So we ended up going out to Wild Pitch. I believe we were at Capitol, a couple other labels out there. Now, bear in mind, this is a very, very different time in the music industry, The Public Enemy's big, things that have long since, you know what I mean?
Wild Pitch is just getting started.
Right. It's all brand new. Right. Gangstar is hot. Main Source is hot. So I'm up in there and basically, some of the guys were feeling it. It was kind of new to a lot of people, you know what I mean? That this was Chicago music. And so people were real used to, they'd been trained to that point.
Well, at the time, Chicago music was all house. You're Mr. Lee. You got to sound like Mr. Lee. When you're coming out of Chicago, you got to sound like R. Kelly.
So I went up there, and we did get people showed us love. We had a good trip, but we came home empty-handed.
Yeah.
Essentially. So, I came up to WNUR the following week and basically told Dirk, look, man, I need to get this music out. And, he was geeked up. He wanted to press it on vinyl. And I was thinking, man, I need this on tape. Nobody in my neighborhood is going to be able to hear this music on a record, man. I need this on tape, So I really was pushing him, please, can we make some cassettes? And ultimately what ended up happening, he pressed up 1,000 of each. We started getting them off. And thus, started building the name. Not only at Ill State, there were several members in the Ill State Assassins, so we were all, individually pursuing our goals. But as far as EC and as well as Ill State, that was really a good moment in time.
And Ill State formed right at those moments as well.
Well,
Ill State prior, but
Ill State existed before I was in it.
But I'm saying Ill State was forming on the south side at that time.
Correct. And west side, Toxic was from the west side.
Kingdom
Right, but
was on the south side.
But basically we had a recording studio in common, and we met up there, and the music we were making was similar, and I was very impressed with the music they was doing, and I was eager. Being up north, it was really lonesome. Keep it real. It wasn't really too much going on here, and I needed to associate myself with cats that was hungry.
Which is ironic, because now the north side is like considered to be the hip hop
mecca
of Chicago.
It is ironic. So and hopefully I had something to do with that. You know what I mean? I would be honored to feel like, I hopefully influence people, if not musically, even on the business side, to pursue this and do this independent rap thing. So, but yeah, we hooked up Ill State, started putting out music, Mob City Records, the debut label, and started building from there. So that took me to about 92, I would say, Invisible Man EP. And then Dirt wanted to follow up, and I was ready to go. So we did Ill State of Mind from there.
Ill State of Mind is, to me, a lot of people start off with Live from the Ill EP, but Ill State of Mind was a full 12-inch, a full album on wax.
Yeah, double album,
yeah. Exactly. Well, what would be considered a full CD?
Yeah, for the youngsters though, that was really the equivalent of independent double CD out of left field. So there isn't.
Was the really first feature of any real Ill State on wax?
I believe that's accurate. Yeah.
And at the time, no one was really putting out wax like that. So, how do I put this?
Well, let me say this. I was able to establish myself by releasing music, because now at this point, now we're in 1993, and there's several people who are recording, but nobody's putting out music. There's no internet. You can't make a song. To make a song is difficult. You have to go to the recording studio. To find someone that can make a beat is impossible. It's very, very difficult. You know what I mean? So you have to basically put into play all these things. You have to find a producer. You have to find a studio. You have to, you know what I mean? You have to put it together. Now you have to manufacture it. It's not as easy as burning a CD. There's like 2 places in the country that even manufacture vinyl now. So at that point there were 4, and there was no place to make a CD, and to make a cassette was a big ordeal. So, these were the type of things that essentially allowed me to get a foothold in the city, because I was putting out music while other people were just recording and starting to get their feet wet. So I got to jump on people, you know what I mean? And that was a huge advantage in me establishing my name, in Ill State establishing our name. We were doing shows. Any show that would come to town, one of us was a part of it, or opening act, or having our own shows, good turnouts. And so,
shows were classic. You were doing shows with some heavy hitters back then, because you're talking